Hey guys, I'm majicDave and this is Ambience. Yes, we have a name. I had to come up with something because World Project just wasn't cutting it anymore. So yeah, Ambience it is. I quite like it. I think it suits what I'm trying to do here. And yeah, I've been working on this again. It's been a long time. We had a new baby and it's just been kind of crazy, and I thought I'd just do the dad thing, I guess, for a while and not really focus on work because I'm in the lucky, privileged situation where I can do that. But I've really missed working on this, so I'm really stoked to be back into it again. And yeah, for the past month or so, I've been starting to just work a couple of days a week on this again, and I'm hoping to ramp that up a bit. So yeah, I started by getting back into fixing just little niggling bugs and stuff. So I've made it work out here again. There were some pretty major artifacts out here for a while, and you couldn't even really see, what the terrain looked like as a whole for the whole globe. So yeah, I've sorted that out, so that's good. I mean, there's still glitches that you can probably see there with Z fighting on the water and stuff. So I've got to still sort that out, and it's getting darker and lighter as the exposure shaders that are having some issues with the sun reflecting directly back into the camera and stuff, but that's all right. Let me just find somewhere a bit more interesting, perhaps. So I've been working on the terrain generation a bit. That's kind of part of why I wanted to get this looking okay. Basically, it was going a bit slowly, so I tried to optimize it. Yeah, I sort of had this idea that I might be able to get it to sort of subdivide the noise as it subdivided the terrain, but that didn't work out. So I don't know how much I want to go into the specific details. They might be a bit too hardcore, but it's just basically I'm using Perlin, something similar to Perlin noise to generate the terrain. And what I was doing was looking up about 13 octaves a number of times for each point. So it was sort of interpolating between various lookups of the noise textures, and that was pretty expensive. Each octave is kind of a whole new, it increases the complexity by some amount, I don't know, but it was slow. So I thought, well, maybe I could just use 1 octave per subdivision. So if you start out with the big triangles, they just look up 1 octave, and then you go to the next one and you interpolate between the triangle position, the noise values that you've got at the higher subdivision levels. And it worked. It did work, but it was problematic. It kind of, basically it was too inflexible. I didn't think that I'd be able to do what I wanted with it, like that. It was super fast because, it's only doing 1 octave instead of 13. But it was really hard to work with, really confusing. So I've gone back to multiple octaves, but I've optimized it quite a lot. I've changed it so I'm only using sort of 5 or 6 octaves where I can instead of 13, and I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm still not happy with how this terrain is looking, but it's certainly getting better as I keep refining it, keep tweaking it, trying new things. And yeah, we've got some cliffs now, as you can see, and sort of a bunch of different, sort of some flatter plains areas down by the sea. I've been working on the shadows. You can see quite a hard line between where the higher resolution shadow map is versus the lower resolution one. I might try to blend between them. You can see it really clearly there. There's lots of sort of niggling things still, but as I said, it's great to be working on this again. What else? I've worked on the water a little bit since last time. I know that I'd done some work to get it using the depth of the water, but I realized that was causing some issues because the depth fall off was pretty inconsistent, and when it got steep the waves would get closer together, which is completely inaccurate. So I just threw that away. Now it's just using the position to figure out, add some ripples. It's still just using sort of sine noise and a bunch of different frequencies and things, and sort of mixing them together. And it's looking pretty good, I mean, that's all right. There's water coming out from the land here, but it's, you know, it's not big waves, so it doesn't really matter. It's fine. So that's all good. What else have I done? I made it so that I could hot load the shaders and the scripts, and so that's been very useful for sort of tweaking things. You know, I've changed the way that the player movement's working. And let me just make it daylight again. So yeah, it's actually, before I go into the script, so I've pretty much decided that I'm going to focus on making this just a PC game with keyboard and mouse. That's the focus, and everything else will be gravy. I think VR is exciting and it's going to be a big deal and all that, but I'm not sure that it's going to suit the kind of game that I actually want to make. Which isn't to say that I'm not going to support VR. I certainly will support VR, but I don't think I want to go down this kind of path of going... I mean, I think even in the last video I said, it doesn't even matter, I don't need gameplay, I can just, you know, it's just such an amazing experience. Well, yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to make a game. So I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on making a good game with keyboard and mouse, but keep VR in mind, rather than focusing on making a VR game and then PC being secondary, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, I've now got far more PC-like movement. I'm not worrying about going very slowly. I'm not worrying about freaking the player out with sudden movements, and that's great. It's good. I don't think you will be moving this fast through the world, at least certainly not in the early game, but in the late game you might be. But I'm just kind of stress testing it at the moment. So, you know, I mean, when you're flying around up here, you can see, oh, it's all a bit funny. You've got a circle of trees and all that. But when you're down on the ground, you don't really see that as a problem. It's far less of a problem. You can just go as fast as you like, and you're not going to see anything really popping because it's all in the distance anyway. So yeah, so I've been working on trying to fix some of the issues with the depth buffers and the shadow buffers and all sorts of things like that, and it's all kind of a never-ending kind of whack-a-mole with bugs. And what was I talking about before? So the scripts. So I've now got hot loading of scripts and hot loading of shaders. So that means I could do something like go in here, do this, and then boom, we've got red terrain. Look at that. So yeah, I can just completely change things on the fly really quickly, and that's just fantastic. I could go in and let me just go a bit higher. Go in and change, say, gravity. Now gravity's 10 times what it was. Let's make it even higher. There we go. Poof. And I can't even fly anymore because gravity's too strong. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of get the point, I think. But it just makes developing so much quicker, and I've never had that before. I've never been able to just change stuff so quickly on the fly like that. Actually, that kind of, if it had a bit more yellow in it, it would almost look. Oh no, that was green. Fluoro grass. Anyway, so from here I would like to try to get more diversity in the vegetation. You know, these trees are all fine and good, but they're very boring. I've been thinking I want to use Blender as my modeling application because I want players to be able to freely change stuff. So I want to get, you know, my toolchain working with freely available tools as much as possible. So I'm going to use Blender to try to do animations and do all the trees and all that kind of stuff. So I need to get into that. And yeah, just more diverse biomes. I want to get some movement happening. It'd be great to have some birds, some sounds. Yeah, lots of things to get on with. So yeah, I might leave it at that, and yeah, I'll just keep playing around and working, plodding on, and yeah, we'll catch you next time.